Welcome, welcome to another episode of Ask a Photo Pro. It's your favorite episode of the week. It is the freaky episodes that we get to look at your photos. My favorite episode of the week is when I actually get the deep dive and look at the work that I suggest that you guys make. Today I suggested, hey, there's a tail. There's a dog in my spot. You're gonna see him lie right there. It's just at a camera. Welcome, by the way, to Ask a Photo Pro. I'm Carty, your friendly neighborhood photographer, and we are about to get into your favorite episode of the week, which is real photo reviews. I really appreciate looking at your work because seeing how you progress, seeing how you level up each time I give you a challenge. This week's challenge was pretty simple. What I wanted you guys to do is shoot a portfolio level photograph. I want to see a portfolio level photograph and one that's in your niche, meaning if you want to shoot cars, I want to see a portfolio level car photograph. If you want to do headshots, actor headshots, I want to see your top level stuff. That's what I asked for. And today we are going to see what y'all have for us in the Discord. By the way, if you want to submit your photos, you need to do a couple things. The first thing you need to do is join here on YouTube. Second, it's right there. Add yourself to my Discord. That's the next thing you have to do. The third thing is connect your Discord in YouTube, and then it'll unlock the submission folders and you'll be able to submit. All right. If you're a subscriber, I do have a submission folder for subscribers, but I don't review subscriber images live. That's one of the bonuses for becoming a member is you get to have your images reviewed live. That's one of the bonuses. And of course, the Discord community is open for everybody. But again, these photo reviews that I'm doing, I only do for my members. So let's get into the solo image. We're going to start with my brother. My brother Les is a incredible car painter. He uses photography in order to document his work and as well as to share the progress of the trucks that he's working on, the cars. My brother paints everything from Ferraris to pickup trucks. And this particular picture that he shared with us, he missed the cutoff of the deadline of how, I mean, I have to have my cutoff at the beginning of the episode. Once the episode starts, by the way, if you're trying to submit pictures now to be seen today, that's next week. You got to get it before the episode starts. Leslie Carty is first up with this amazing photo. My brother is really known for his paint work, so this is what he is showing in this photograph is his paint work. He also shoots wildlife from time to time, and he uses these wildlife photos in his paintings. My brother's also a photorealistic painter, and this shot list is super dope. I mean, I want to see all kinds of details on this truck. I want to see it from different angles, and I want to see you place it in a place that's like a bit of an open area so you have non-distractions. Obviously, that's why you pinched in so you could see just the truck and get the detail of the light on this quarter panel, which I definitely understand. But the distraction back here of that other car and the fact that you're cutting the top of the truck off feels like it's because there's other stuff back there that's distracting you. When you're able, get these cars that you work on in an area that's kind of open and do that high-end car photography. I think it's going to make the huge difference. My guy, thank you for submitting. I appreciate you. First picture from Brother Les. Let's go. Thanks for submitting, big guy. My older brother, we've been supporting each other he's 8 years older than me. So since I was born, my brother's been looking after me. So he's a good dude. I appreciate you submitting, Les. Let's go. All right, our next photo. So Slippy Hollow says, here's my assignment for the week. Shot on a A7R3 55 millimeter. I do find myself doing a lot of night photography as there's less people and the lights in the streets kind of renew at night. And I'm wondering if you have some tips for doing night photography. This was the lowest ISO, which is ISO 1000, that I could get to and still get something crispy. Also, is there a software that I recommend for denoising? This is from Slippy Hollow. Slippy Hollow. I really like the idea here. I feel like you're doing some sort of vignetting here that's taking away part of the photo. I'm not sure if you're shooting through something or if you're actually doing some sort of masking in post. I definitely like the crop. As far as the ISO and as far as like what you're trying to do, if you're trying to shoot people, at night, you're restricted to the exposure that you get based on the existing light. My suggestion is get some LEDs, like portable LEDs that run on battery or are rechargeable, are super easy to do. You put that LED on a stand, and now you're not limited to having to find places that there's light. You can find places that you want to shoot and then light them. Kick in a pink color to light the back of the stairs. Kick in another color to light your face. And not only are you practicing artificial light, but you're doing it outside, which is also giving you a new depth and dimension to your photograph. As far as how you're cropping this, I really like this. I really like the fact that this is a cover. You've pre-cropped it for me, I think. It looks like it's a 9x12. It's very, very well done. I just want to see the rest of the photo, obviously, because you're using tungsten. Oops.
New member.
Let's go, Marilyn. Welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. By the way, when you become a member, I burn down my flat.
Welcome.
So you're getting a flat that's being burnt down right now. I like to let the smoke go when I get a new member during a live stream. Let's go, Marilyn. Thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Slippy, I think that you really have something here. You have a cool lighting sensibility, although where the head angle is, because the light's coming from so much from the side, you're actually starting to get some weird shadows that are coming in the face because you're lighting yourself so far from the side. In this situation, I'd rotate your face this way just a little bit so you're pointing there, and that's going to let some of this light kick into this side of the face. You can see it's just starting to do it down here, but if you turn your face that way just a little bit more, you're going to open up this whole thing and get like a beautiful Rembrandt lighting. Again, I know you wanted to hit this straight on to get the very geometric leading line of the stairs. My suggestion, you're worrying about denoise, you're worrying about denoising software because you're pushing your ISOs higher than your sensor likes. My suggestion, I don't shoot outside higher than, maybe ISO 1000. I have an R5, so the low light is pretty good, but still, it's about exposure. You really have to nail your exposure, and I think that with a tripod, which you need a tripod when you're shooting at night, unless you're in a super bright area, it's going to make such a difference. And if you use some sort of artificial LED light, it's going to just polish and punch and make this work look like now it looks polished, professional, and expensive. So if you like night photography, it'd be worthy to invest in some, I would say, what are they called? Some LED strips. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I do outside at night. I post a lot of stuff on my blog that I don't post anywhere else. And a lot of that stuff is my personal work. And low light photography is something that I really, really, really like. And I'm going to show you some low light personal work that I shot I don't know, I guess last year, hello internet. Last year I shot this stuff. And again, this is shot with an LED wand, long shutter speed where I'm walking and painting basically with light. You can see that when you get into night photography, shooting at night is one level, but how you make your work literally next level is not just shooting the night scene that we see. And although it's super captivating to see night photography, it's super captivating to see night photography. It's like cool beans. But still, we have to push night photography so far. Again, this is personal work, just things like I come up with an idea. I go outside with my tripod and an LED wand and I play around. And I get photographs like this that are, for me, a level up. Like people are, how did you do that? That's so crazy. Oh my God, they have all these questions. So this is how I want you to think about approaching night photography. Is not just the idea of putting the camera on a tripod and doing a slow shutter speed. I mean, again, trying to shoot portraits or self-portraits at night, that's also difficult. You know what I mean? My suggestion is just try this kind of stuff, because you're really, when you're not shooting people, now you can do long exposures. When you're not shooting people, now you can do exposures that are 1 minute, 2 minutes. You can shoot at ISO 100. And I assure you, these photos, there's no noise, because I shoot them, I think, ISO 400, and my exposures are between 30 seconds and a minute. So this is where I want you to try, because again, for me, this is just straight up night photography, but you see me painting green in here in the trees. And I did the exposure so long that the night actually looks like day. So I don't know, my vibe is I want you to push harder. I think that you can push harder, because even this, which is a relatively straight photograph, there's no subjects. This is the same scene as the three pink bars. Let's go, Vicky. Thank you. This is the same scene, but you can see the scene with the 3 bars of light is so much more powerful than this just straight photograph, but even this photograph is strong. So all of that to say, Slippy, is I want you to push hard. I want you to push harder and see what you can actually get from yourself out of your night photography. Because I think that although you're really managing to do well shooting self-portraits, I think once you turned the camera just on the scenes that you see, once you start painting in some LEDs, some colored lights, if you want to do self-portraits, bring in LEDs, bring in colored light, and start doing something that's just magic, that's harder to imitate. It's going to make your work look more expensive, and it's going to make you happier with it. Cool beans? All right, well done, by the way. Slippy Hollow. All right, guys, we have a submission from Sebastian. Sebastian says, "Good morning, afternoon, beautiful people. This is my photo for the latest assignment. I'm not sure how close I am to a hero shot, but I repeat the words as a mantra. Create a photo, don't take one." The photo is from my last session with Anna, pictured with her boyfriend. This session was my second where I used Godok lights. More pictures coming soon. All right. So this is from Sebastian K. Let's go, Sebastian. Like, I really, really appreciate the reach in this photo. Like, how hard you're trying in this photo is great. Compositionally, let me just give you this as a magazine cover. Yes, the pink clashes with this particular colorway, but this is really nice. This is really nice. There's a couple of exposure things, I think. The exposure on him, and you said that you weren't using a light on him because the sun and the brightness is over here. You can see clearly it's brighter over here than it is on this side of the frame. When you're seeing that, you can see that the sun is, and also that the light is kind of gone. So because he's lit on this side and the subject is down here, the light on her is great. And the energy and everything is great because she's looking towards the light. Because he's looking behind, because he's looking behind and not actually at the light, we have the exposure here on his neck, which is the exposure that we want on his face. So this is one of those scenarios where you actually have to push light in. Also, it has a little bit of a muddy feeling because you didn't, if you brought light out there to do it, it's a little muddy as far as exposure, but the concept, it's like 10 out of 10 on concept. I don't know if this guy dropped out of the sky. I don't know, like, it looks like he jumped. It's really, really strong. You could definitely save this by just bringing up a little bit of dodge on his face. Giving it a little bit more exposure would definitely help. I love the concept, and look at it as a cover. Like, it's definitely something. Small things is just the placement of him and the placement of him behind this bench. I would love him to be within this space. I'd also love her to be reaching a little bit more across the bench, as in like slide her bum on the bench a little bit more, which is going to give a little bit more distance. And then you can have her reaching more to his hand and her, like, them both reaching towards, welcome, John. Thanks for becoming a subscriber. Appreciate you. You can see that that would link their hands a little bit better. It's like the smallest thing. And also, if you had his face turning away, like he was going away from her, and like she was reaching to stop him, that would almost complete the story even more. Doing these conceptual photos takes so much thought. Yes, I also, the tombstone, someone just noticed. This is why I said if this image was black and white, the color of the leaves, the tombstones, it would be just a little bit less distracting. Again, Sebastian, the fact that you're taking big swings is why I'm so happy with you. You're an amazing photographer. I feel like, again, small changes, but I almost think that you probably have it because I only allow one submission. You probably have tons of other photos. I'd really love to see another perspective. I'd love to see you rotate it around this way a little bit, which will make this bench a little bit less substantial, and again give you the access to coming around here and not cutting him off in the corner. Just small things, man. But again, it's smoke. It's definitely great. I do appreciate the effort, and the idea and the concept is an 11 for sure. Small things. And also, you ran out of light. Like, the light was over, that the day the sun was gone. So once you lose light, you got to either punch artificial light in or up your exposure. This is a great job. All right, let's see what else we got. Hope you guys are having a good time, by the way. You guys enjoying yourself? This commercial-free episode is being brought to you by the members of this channel, which I'm blown away because I have almost my goal of 150 members on this channel. Marilyn, thank you for becoming a member. You're the latest one. Trying to get to 150 members. It kind of blows me away, but because I have such great support from my viewers, I turn off commercials for my live streams. I would literally double my income on YouTube if I allowed commercials to play during my live stream, but it ruins the experience for you, so I make sure that it doesn't happen. All right, let's get into our next viewer, our next submission. All right, we were looking for some hero photos, and Unscratched has done a video submission. Let's go. Unscratched says, this is my first video submission, recorded in Edgewater, Florida. above the Indian River, shot in 4K 30, compressed to 1080 by YouTube. This is a niche that he's excited about, and I'm really looking forward to incorporating more still photography with both flying and land-based cameras. Thank you for your indulgence. I love that. Okay, we have a beautiful 2-minute clip from Unscratched. So let's have a look. And his YouTube name is Clip the Sky. I'm just going to pop up my audio a little bit. All right, guys, this is 2 minutes video, because I also am happy if you're trying to do video at a high level, if you're trying to add video as an element that is part of your business. I need to look. I'd like to look. I want to look at the video content you're making. All right, this is Unscratched. I'm super excited about this. This is a whole new era for you, honestly, Unscratched, because I feel like your whole vision when it comes to video and the way that you soundtrack your videos is quite epic. And it felt really epic. What I want you to next start to think about is, what is your story? If you think about what your story is related to your video content, because if you guys will just indulge me, I'm going to watch this again, but I want to be able to talk over it this next time, because I think that it's super important. Yo, Stephen C. with the $20 donation. Yo, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stephen C. says, early Merry Christmas to you. We're so grateful for what you do. The mentoring you give for free is greatly appreciated. I also sent you a gift through Stream Elements. Thank you so much, man. You're absolutely, absolutely appreciated. My laptop's dead, and all my outlets are full, and I'm not able to show your messages today, my pop-up thing that I do with your chat messages today, or I would have been late, and I didn't want to be late. So, I'm going to watch this now from Unscratched, and I want to just talk a little bit. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate you. I want to talk just a little bit over it. And as I was saying, I want you to be thinking, even if there's no narrative, even if there's no dialogue, what is the subject? What's the hero of this video? That's the, like, is that boat that you're circling, is that the hero? Like, I want you to think now, if especially if you're doing dronies, if you're doing aerials, if you're doing this type of
Super
photography.
chat.
Yo, Stephen C, that's the super chat notification. Thank you, buddy. So imagine if you're doing this type, there still has to be a subject and there still has to be a story, even if there's a story without words. What's the hero? It is the boat the hero? Like, I want you to think about it that way while I watch this again with you. This is an amazing opener. The horizon line is a bit like central. You can also think about pushing that horizon line to like a third. Give yourself more ground or give yourself more sky. Also, this shot, I feel like it holds a little bit. And also, that movement right there, we can't show movement when we're doing drone photography. We can't show movement. We have to cut there and come back. So just taking this just quickly again from the front, horizon, the birds flying through, amazing. This, you're turning the camera. So because you're turning the camera and I'm feeling that turn, now you're stopping the camera. It's like you're driving, and I want you to think about more moving the drone rather than moving the camera while you're flying. Same here, this turn down, the turn down definitely resets and makes me realize, like, oh no, someone's flying a drone. That cut right there, I feel was abrupt. I would like to see that cut, especially based on the music. This cut should feel, it should feel gentle. And as I'm talking, and you see, I'll take it back just a bit. You'll see you're amping up. It does cut to the music. I do see that, but I still feel like it's not dramatic enough of a scene that you're now seeing for that hard cut. Again, one of those scenarios where for me, it's a bit even with the horizon line. I'd like to see more water and less sky. This boat is coming in, and now I'm thinking this boat is the hero. I think now that this boat that's pulling in is the hero, I think. But you're letting it go out of frame. We're not tracking it. Now, the next cut should be that boat, I'm hoping, and it holds just a little long before we get to that cut. And this rotation, I feel like there should be some ramping, like speed ramp it, then slow down, speed ramp it, and then slow down, and then give me another shot. Because I feel this shot holds just a bit long. It holds just a bit long. And if you speed ramp it, you're able to get that same feeling with a shorter amount of time. And I also don't think that it should end on that shot. I think we need some sort of a, a wider view of that. And then also, lastly, like, just I want to help you with like design and like how these things, like how your lower thirds roll in and all of that stuff. But again, the effort and the fact that you're new at this is a new endeavor for you. You're already hitting tens. You're already hitting tens, but having someone's eyes on your cuts because you're new to the cuts, having somebody's eyes on just helping you story wise and what the hero is and what the idea is. Oftentimes, when we shoot video and we're new, we just shoot footage. We just shoot footage. And the problem is that we don't have a beginning and we don't have an ending. So if you just shoot footage without thinking about how it's going to start and how it's going to end, then you don't really have a story. We just have clips. So you made a story out of clips, but the next time you go out, if you think like, what's the story am I trying to tell? And how will I open that story? It becomes super easy to have a beginning and an end, and then what you shoot in the middle, that becomes, you can put almost anything in the middle once you have a strong opening and a strong end. The middle just becomes like, I mean, that's where you reveal your hero, right? Good job. Very good job. Very good job. Very, very good job. I like looking at clips. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. And also, you tell me if you found that beneficial as far as me giving you that update background feedback on that image. All right. Let's get into, I mean, we got to go back to some music because, you know, that's what we got to do. Have to hear some music again. All right, let's look at who we have next. Matthew Sargent. So Matthew says, when I think of the word hero photo, many things come to mind. I dwelled on this week's assignment for a long time and poured my heart into Behance for ideas. What I came up with was this. My great-grandfather was John Albert Patterson. John was a veteran of World War II. He served in the South Pacific, in combat in the Philippines. He did many battles. After the war, he was served with the army occupation in Japan. He was honorably discharged with the rank of sergeant with a Purple Heart and other medals. Then he became a firefighter in Salt Lake City. So even though he died when he was quite young, he made a huge impact on me. I've always been very sentimental and tie huge value in terms of items and mementos. Through the years, I've been given some of his personal belongings. I dug them out, put together a makeshift studio, and used a large gray blanket and a background, as a background and a ring light. So in this photo, I'm wearing his fireman's helmet, the bomber jacket, and he also has his gun, but he didn't put the gun in the photo. So making this photo has inspired me to do a whole new series of self-portraits with my various family members' items. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. Honoring the Past by Matthew. Matthew, oh my God, this is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Holy moly. This is just spectacular. Like, Matthew, I mean, do you need me to tell you how bananas this photo is? Do you need me to tell you? Matthew, you leveled up in this session on so many things. Look at the detail. Look at the detail. I mean, Matthew, the ring light is always going to give a quality of like, it's relatively flat because your lens is at the same area as your ring light. But what it did do is it gave your eyes this like crazy pop. It gave your eyes this crazy detail, and it gave your skin this crazy texture. Like the expression on your face, like this is high art. Like I have nothing but amazingness to say. Like, oh my God, calligraphy again with another gifted member. Let's go. Calligraphy. Yo, Calligraphy's doing this every show at this point right now. Calligraphy, you get the smoke, man. Thank you for gifting another membership. Thank you. Calligraphy's trying to raise the bar.
New member.
Let's go. Yo, Colin, you just got a free membership courtesy of Calligraphy. Wow, Matthew. Wow. This, I mean, you leveled up on So many things. And also, you came up with a self-directed, look what happened here. You came up with a self-directed project just because I asked you to make a single photo. I asked you to make something. I said, hey, submit a hero picture, submit something that's super high end that could be in your portfolio, something that's within your niche. What you tried to do is something that was so different, something that you'd never done before, and you executed in such a way that, oh my God, I'm so proud because I
Welcome.
know where you've come from. Art, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for watching me, and thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate you hanging out with me this afternoon. Thank you. This is incredible, honestly, Matthew. And I want you to feel the level up. There's so many things that I could help you here with light, because ring light is not the ideal light for us. But what you did with the materials that you had available to you is so next level, and it proves that you can make high level photography with the equipment that you have. The thing that makes this so special is idea. Idea. You had props, you had idea, there was a reason why you made the photo, you felt it, and you're emoting the emotion that you felt from your grandfather. Like, this is magic. And the thing that's so special is just me asking you to make a hero photo actually created a body of work that you're going to now shoot. And if nothing else, this photo wearing your grandfather's apparel that you can hold on to for the rest of your life. Like, that's insane. I try to do that. I try to pull the best out of you. That's just what I'm trying to do here, is pull the best out of you as a photographer. It takes bravery to submit your photographs to be critiqued, but just think of it. Every Olympic athlete has a coach. That's how they got to the Olympics. Every NHL player and every NBA player, every pro athlete has a coach. When you're trying to get to the highest level at something like making $100,000 a year with your camera, it's okay to have a coach. In fact, you're probably not going to get there without talking to another photographer that's already doing it. So the people who submit their photographs, they're brave and they want to improve. They're not afraid to put themselves out there. They're not afraid to fail. And because of that, they feel successes on a level that people who don't submit photographs, they just don't feel that. Because people who are just self-learning and doing it on their own without community, you have no one to push you, no one to encourage you, no one to root you on, and no one to help you when you make mistakes. So community, there's nothing better than community. And my Discord community, where all of these amazing photographers hang out and submit photographs for review, is literally, my Discord's the smartest thing I've ever done. Literally, beyond doing this whole YouTube thing, being like starting a photography community because I needed one. I didn't have one, so I started my own. Smartest thing I've ever done. Matthew, you get unequivocally an 11 out of 10. This is, I'm also going to say, so far, you've been growing at an insane rate. I know you feel it. I can't wait to start getting some lighting ideas in your head so you can really start bending brains, man. I'm really, really proud of you. This picture is fire. Absolute fire. You should be thrilled.
Gifted
Absolutely
member.
thrilled. Stephen C. with the gifted member. Stephen, you really do want me to just smoke out my spot. Stephen, thank you, my guy. Thank you. I appreciate you. Stephen C. Again, these people who watch,
New member.
Yo, CJ Watson, you just got a gifted membership. I hope you're watching this because my man Stephen C just hooked you up. This is an incredible thing that we got going on here. I am going to get into the next. Yo, Freeman, welcome. Freeman was my uncle. Not really my uncle, but he was always my Uncle Freeman. So whenever I see the name Freeman, yo, William, welcome. Yo, you guys knocked me past my 150 Goal. Way past that now. Again.
New member.
Scuba Steve, welcome, man. Jesus, you guys are freaking me out. If I have to turn my camera off because I can't handle the emotional, like the support that you guys
New
give
member.
me. It's like Mr. The Train. Oh my goodness, man. Let's get it, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you. This is woo. Okay, Steven. Thank you for gifting everybody who just joined, became a part of this whole crew, became a member. Thank you. Honestly, it means everything to me. Thank you. This whole thing is mental, honestly. You two, you guys have been here since the very beginning. Thank you. I appreciate you. I know dementia's probably setting in, but thank you for being here for so long. These two have been here with me since I was streaming to one person. All right. By the way, guys, you do control my stream. As you're noticing, you're seeing Taylor Swift pop up and all of this stuff. If you're in chat, hey, that's my brother. Let's go. Opal Customs, by the way, that's my actual brother. If you see him in chat, make sure you say hi. My chat controls my stream. So all of these Taylor Swift and all of these glitches and things like that that you see, many of them my chat does. Like, watch this. Hey guys, throw it back to 1995. I say something like that, my chat, they'll just glitch my cameras and make it look like, you know, you did a great job. You did a great job, Matthew. You should be super, super happy. You see, all of a sudden we're back in 1995. I got the best viewers, man. I'm telling you. So let's get into Ernest Poole. So, Ernest says, this is Junebug. Junebug said, if I had to choose a cover photo for my portfolio with a hero photo, it'd be this, because my daughter's birth saved my life. This photo represents me and my life in every way. And I'm finding my niche to be dramatic lighting style portraits. Shot on a Panasonic Lumix G7 with a 50 millimeter.
Welcome.
Let's go. DS, thanks for becoming a subscriber. Last night, my daughter saved my life. This is a very, very elegant portrait. The metering is really good. The metering's good. The skin, you did very, very minimal to the skin. It's good. This child has an art face. She looks like she was born in the 15th century. Like, literally, she looks like she needs to sit on a throne. Like, just picture her like wearing British gown and like having like a proper like crown on. Like, she looks like royalty. Like, you should play into that idea, Junebug, and use your daughter as your muse. Use your daughter as someone who you put in front of your camera and dress her in royalty. Dress her in these characters. Like, get get some purple like satin, like make her into this character while you're testing dramatic lighting. I want you to learn how to bring in a second light and a third light. Like, I want to see, obviously you master one light, but once you master one light, you can start doing multiple light setups and really creating a world. Also, I love the jet black background. Again, let's look at the focus. Let's look at the detail. Let's look at the detail in the hair, the separation with the black. It's really good. It's really good. And again, each time there's small things that I can help you with lighting. And I'm going to be literally within the next 3 weeks doing a whole series of videos in the studio so I can help my viewers with lighting. You guys are so close. But what you nailed is exposure. You nailed attitude. You nailed idea. You nailed non-distracting backgrounds. You nailed so many things in this photo, Junebug. Yeah, man, you got this. You got this for sure. This is really great. Let's have a look at this as a cover. This is great. You did great. This is a great one. Really good job. Really good job. Photo by Junebug. Let's get it on. All right, let's look at who else has got some photography for me. And you know, sometimes these shows, like, I never know how long they're going to go because people just submit. Now that, like, people have discovered that there's a pro who's online who's, like, reviewing photos. Yeah. Tony. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to submit my first ever photo for review. I love this photo because it captures the natural shy smile of a girl I met in Cat Cat Village in Vietnam. She caught me taking pictures of her, but after a few shots, we exchanged contact information and I sent her this photo. Took on the Sony A6600 Sigma 18 to 50 2.8 ISO 1000 2.8 at a 30 1/320th of a second. Hope you have a great day. Oh, dude. Tony. Again, my viewers are savage. So good, man. Tony, this is so good. So good. Like, the idea in front of the waterfall, the pose, the traditional, oh my God, this makes me have goosebumps. This is one of those magic photos. This is one of those magic moments. Now, I want you to watch Tony's magazine composition. Do you see how much of a magazine cover this is? Do you see that this is, yes, a magazine cover? Tony, you hit this out of the park. It's so proper. I mean, it's so honest. And it's so real and genuine. I mean, her bangs and the fact that it's an overcast day and, you know, the sun is high. We definitely have that top light. Like, you can see just based on the highlight that's on the upper part of her arm and the shadow that's in her hand. You can see that the light, even if it's overcast, the light is still coming from the top. So because of that, her bangs are going to shade her face just a little bit, but it's like if her hand was down like just a touch more, it would have revealed a little bit more light on her face, but it doesn't matter. This is so honest and so genuine. Like, me just pointing out like, oh, I wish I had just a little bit more light. It's like, doesn't matter. This could still be the cover of National Geographic. And when you're shooting photos at the level that you are in your career, that literally could be a Nat Geo cover, you're onto something. Like, you really are. And again, look at this as a cover. Look at the space that he gave. So now there can be byline. There can be the sub thing here. There can be the article title here. There can be text here. There can be text here. Like, this is a cover and it works so magical. I really just, for me, I just want to see more work from you. Is this a hero photo? Absolutely. It's mental. It's so good. So good. That wasn't a review. That was me just saying, wow. I hope that's okay. Like, wow. My viewers are nuts. But again, everybody gets judged against themselves. What you just did, Tony, is you established your bar. You showed me how good you were. You showed me where you were. Now, all photos that come subsequently after that, I judge against this photo. So now, guess what? That's the bar. So you've now, with your high jump, you've now cleared 5 feet. So guess what? If like you start doing 4-footers and thinking that you're gonna get praised, that photo is judged against this photo. And if they're in the same portfolio and one is here and one is here, a trained eye, a trained art director can tell, because every photo that's lower than your bar causes doubt. And if you don't want to cause doubt with your photography, you never show something that is below your bar. That's why we edit. That's why we shoot hundreds of photos for a single frame. Yeah, good shit. Good job. Turtle drones. Turtle, you're an animal. Oh my God. Okay. Turtle was away for a little while. Turtle is a drone photographer. I gave Turtle 2 hours mentorship, and Turtle took that 2 hours and turned it into a full-fledged drone business. Turtle is incredible with aerial photography. He does one thing, and he does one thing incredibly. Aerial photography from a drone. He's a licensed drone pilot. His photography is nuts. Turtle. Also known as Josh McCoy. So, Turtle says, here's my hero photo. This is what a hero would see while soaring through the sky. Even they can't breach the FAA's 400-foot law. Meaning, oh, Turtle, this is gorgeous. Yo, this is what I'm talking about. Like, photography at the level that you're just like, wow, right? Like, wow. Do you want to see the detail? Do you want to see the detail? This is somebody who I gave him 2 hours, like 2 hours with me. And literally, this was before I had anybody in my mentorship. And it was just like, hey, Turtle, let me just give you some mentorship. So I gave Turtle some mentorship at a time when he needed it. And he didn't have the money for it. But I just did it because I saw talent. And I just try to do that shit. You know, it makes me feel good. So look at this close up as I scroll horizontally, full screen, down a full vertical photo. Josh, like, what is happening? This is insane. Like, actually insane. Like, what you're doing now, you guys, all the people who've submitted photos today, you're making it really hard for me to get new people to submit. You realize that, right? The people who've submitted photos today, you're making it really hard for me to get new people to submit because they're seeing the level of work that you guys are submitting, and then they're thinking that they're being judged against you guys. But you got to realize you're not being judged against these photographers. You're being judged against yourself. I just judge you against you. That's it. We all start somewhere. That's it. We all start from the starting line. Some people have just started earlier. Some people start later. Don't be intimidated. Just be inspired. That's what you should be. Be inspired by the level of work, by the level of photographers that watch this show. Be inspired. It means that I'm creating value, I guess, for them. Turtle, this is unequivocally a 11 out of 10 guy. You think you need me to tell you that this is a spectacular hero photo? This is composed absolutely perfectly. Perfectly. My only thing, maybe the lake needs to go a little lower. Maybe this lake. And I know you have this shot because you wouldn't just shoot a single photo without shooting so many. I wouldn't mind seeing this lake pushed like a little lower so my masthead fits in without covering it so much. But again, the leading line that you have coming through this dried riverbed is just, it's incredible, like so incredible. So like, yes, I'm not really going to complain. I think that this is pretty fantastic. So yeah, you did a great job. This is epic. Josh McCoy, also known as Turtle Drone Solutions. Turtle, well done. Well done. Wowzer. By the way, guys, here's a secret. The best way to watch this program is at home on your TV. Do you have the ability to put TV, like YouTube on your TV? Because if you have the ability to play YouTube on your TV, that's how to watch it. Watch YouTube on the TV. I watch YouTube on TV. I have Apple TV right there. That little white dot's my Apple TV. And anything on YouTube, I just watch it. And if I'm watching something live, I use my phone for chat, but it's playing on the TV. Or I just push it to the TV and then participate in chat. Watching me on the TV is better. Yes? You too? You guys watch me on the TV, right? Yes? More comfortable to watch me on the TV, right? For sure. I think so too. All right, guys, let's get into our next shooter. Turtle, you did great, kid. You did great. Such a great shooter. Let's go. All right, Anna Banana. Anna says this. Anna says, I feel that this breaks many of Carty's rules, but this image is from this week's shoot and describes my current niche. Theater, young actors, and dancers. I shot this image really high ISO 40,000, and a slowest shutter speed, a 60th to allow for a little glow. Will it make it to my portfolio? This is Anna's question. And Anna's also in my mentorship program. And I really appreciate the effort and the idea. And funny enough, shooting at 40,000 ISO, it doesn't look at like 40,000 ISO. Like you're managing to get the lowest amount of like lumens, the lowest amount of light registering on your sensor, and you virtually have no noise. Obviously, focus is an issue with a couple of these because you're shooting at such a wide aperture, and the depth between this student and these people back there, especially shooting wide open, you're going to get, I mean, you can only choose one thing. And then also, because you're shooting in such a dark area, a dark scenario, the camera doesn't autofocus easily because it's so dark, and you don't have faces that you're able to grab focus because it's so dark. So now you're grabbing focus here. But because the shutter speed, because the aperture is so wide open and the depth of field is so shallow, you get this tack sharp, but everything else just goes out of focus. So for me, it's the same suggestion that I made earlier with Slippy Hollow with the night photography, is I would say you need some LEDs. If you're going to do this, you need to push in some light that gives you a little bit of separation, like you have it back there from this rim light, but you just need a little bit of extra light in here to give you just a little bit of separation. These girls are wearing black, so they look like they're floating heads with these little bodies. Like there's not enough detail. And also, we have to remember that people see these photographs so small. They're not seeing it at this size. They're seeing it at this size. So it just looks like lights, and you don't even see the kids once it's smaller. And if you squint your eyes and you look at this, you don't see the kids at all. So because of those small details, you need to kick in a little bit of separation. You asked me if this makes it to your portfolio. I know what your work looks like. My answer is no. Not yet. It's not polished enough yet. I think if you tried it again a couple of times, yes, you could shoot this at that level, but not without some other external light. You need the light to be up just a bit more. And if you can't get the light to be up just a bit more, then recreate this with another dancer outside using artificial light, and don't try to get it while it's happening live, unless you're being paid to do that. And if that's the case, shoot it as a video clip instead of doing it as photographs. That is my advice, Anna. I think, again, I appreciate the big swings. I think that the swings are necessary. It's super necessary for you to try. But again, I think you know that in order for this to make it to your portfolio, it has to be a more polished look, or it just looks like anybody who was there with a camera is getting the same photo. We got to push a little bit harder. That's where the artificial light comes in. I hope that helps you. Thank you for submitting. That was photography from Anna. All right, Stephen C. This is outside my niche, but I wanted to try something new and different. I took this for our photography ladies and gents over the pond. Shot at 50 millimeter with a 28-70 on a Sony a7 III, ISO 100, 4.5, a sixth of a second shutter speed. This is great, Stephen. The detail's great, and the fact that, again, you're trying something, you're literally building a set and creating a super detailed product photo of this vintage Royal Mail truck. I think that you have something. The light is super simple. It looks very much like it's just existing light, but it's diffused. It's like you have depth. Like there is something here. I feel like I'm trying to see, is this going to be part of a larger series? Is this going to be part of a larger body of work? Are you practicing product photography? For me, seeing this and the care that you put into shooting this car, I would love to see you go to a drugstore, buy some shiny, beautiful packaged cosmetics, some lipstick, some like mascara, like makeup packaging is beautiful. Spend $50 on makeup and
New member.
create. Yo, Spetty Sanchez, let's go. Spetty has been watching me for literally 2.5 years, and Spetty I've talked
New
about
member.
too much. Robin, welcome again for your 4th month. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for renewing. I appreciate you both. Yeah, Stephen,
New member.
I see. Yo, it's new member day. Robert Gardner, welcome back. I appreciate you for renewing. Thank you. You see that there's
New member.
definitely like it is new member day. Welcome back, everybody. There is I see some sort of a vibe with you shooting
New member.
luxury products. Welcome back, Vicky. Let's go. Appreciate you. You know that there's luxury products that you could be shooting with this
New
same
member.
care. It is new member day. Wow. It must be the day that I turned on my members. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, I think that product
New
photography
member.
could be something that you do all winter. Welcome back for 3 months. Thank you. Hear me out. Product photography, lipstick, blush, like with the same. Here, I'm going to show you an example of a photographer that is absolutely inspiring and one of my favorites. His name's Raymond Mayer. And Raymond Mayer, he shoots product photography that you've seen. He is one of the most prolific product photographers, and he does the trifecta. He shoots people, products, and people, products, and architecture. And he does it all at the highest level. This is Raymond Mayer. But when you look, or Meyer, depending on how you say, but when you look at his product photography, it's like, here, let's look at this Marc Jacobs. Like, this is the stuff now, Stephen. Do you understand how much money there is in shooting this kind of high-end luxury products? Very graphic. It's very detailed. Like, this is Raymond Mayer. And this I believe you can do. Like, but the luxury product is what's selling this idea. Is he's shooting super expensive stuff. Marc Jacobs, this whole category is all stuff that he's done for Marc Jacobs. And again, he shoots for Vogue. So these are the ideas, and this is the inspiration that I want you to be thinking about, so you can take an idea like this and turn that into an idea like this. Just literally by choosing different elements. Once you're choosing different elements, now it's like, let me show you. He shoots all the Clinique, like literally all the Clinique, all the Calvin Klein. Like, this should be inspiring. Like this. Look at this. On camera flash. Like on camera flash, ring light. Like, look at this. This, Stephen. If you started dealing with this type of photography, all of a sudden, you take something that you're doing like this, which for me, it's photography, but it's not necessarily applied photography, because I can't see a place where I can use this picture. I can't see someone who wants to buy this picture. It's not selling a lifestyle. It's not selling an idea. So when you think about this is creating luxury. It's creating an idea. It's selling a lifestyle, and it's selling luxury, and there's no more money than it's attached to the fashion industry. I mean, intentionally not perfect. Like, this is high art. Look at how perfect the stuff is shot, but look at how clever his ideas are. Raymond Mayer. He is an absolute master. An absolute master. And Raymond Mayer is heavily influenced by Irving Penn. And Irving Penn is absolutely like one of the most incredible one of the most incredible photographers ever is Irving Penn. And Irving Penn's still life, like his still lifes were absolutely magic. Like cigarettes, you know what I mean? Like this is Irving Penn's still life. And you have to know that Irving Penn is Raymond Meyer's biggest influence. So the way that Raymond Meyer shoots people, he shoots architecture, and he shoots still life, like that is never done. It's never done because it takes so long to master each one. But if you look at Irving Penn, and Irving Penn was doing this work, like this is in the Smithsonian. Irving Penn was doing this work like in the 60s and in the 70s. Like this is Irving Penn's photograph of Picasso. So when I talk about photography and I talk about inspiration, and you think about Raymond Mayer and you think about how far we can actually go with this photography thing, this, when I see this sparks an idea. For me, I now shine light in corners that you've never seen before, possibilities and ideas that you've never thought of. And now, because I asked you to make something and you've showed me, I'm now giving you back something that you can now take that idea and actually turn that one idea into a career. By the way, you can shoot product photography remotely. You don't have to live in New York in order to shoot New York level product photography. Welcome, Rashad. Solo man, he is here. Let's go. Rashad, thank you for becoming a believer. I appreciate you. Welcome to the Carty crew. Make sure you join the Discord, my friend. That's the place. That's where we submit all these photos. All right, next photographer, Devlin. First submission. Unsure of my niche. I know it'll involve people. I'm shy and I have social anxiety. I asked this guy in my class if I could take a few photos because I liked his style, and he agreed. Shot on the R6 with a 51.8. All right, listen, I'm so proud of you, Devlin, because you have social anxiety like me, and you're breaking through the fifth wall in order to ask people for these photos. Like, this is good. This is good that you're breaking the fifth wall. What's also good is your location choice. I really like the way that you put him on the corner. I really like the graphic feeling of this. Your line here, like vertically, feels like relatively straight. It actually feels pretty straight. If I do a little bit of this, it feels, it could be a little straighter, but make sure that you line up that and with a grid and make sure that that's straight. How he's posed is because he doesn't know how to pose, like, which is okay, which is what we're for. And the more that you get experience shooting people and directing them, for me, the way that he, like his face, everything here, the focus is really great. Like the vibe is there. He's strong and he wants to show his arms, but so because he wants to show his arms, he's kind of puffing his arms out, right? And it's also making him look stiff. You know what I mean? If you look at it again, him pushing his arms out like that is making him look stiff. And then when I scroll down a little bit, we don't put our hands in our pockets like that ever. But when people are doing a photo, for some reason, they hook their thumbs in their pocket, like they think that's how we pose, which happens exactly never. And you see also he's pushing his arms out to be muscle guy. You know what I mean? So that stuff, you break that right away. You're like, just be like, shake your arms out, just cross your arms. You know what I mean? Like pull out your phone, look at your phone. Let me take a photo of you while you're not paying attention to the photo. But because he leaned up against the wall, because he put his thumbs in his pocket, and because he bucked his arms out, now he just looks uncomfortable. The idea, the light, you put him on a dark background, he's wearing dark, his shoes pop, like the way that you chose the location, the light, all of that stuff. Yes. The direction and having the confidence to help someone get into a natural pose is what we have to do. We have to help them get into a natural pose, and that helps when we know actually what natural poses are. Like if you see something that looks strange, you just call it. Just be like, hey, dude, I've never seen a guy walk down the street with his thumbs hooked in his pocket. Like, we don't do that. If you want to put your hands in your pockets, put your hands in your pockets. Like, put them in there. And also, guess what? You have your phone in your pocket or some other huge, like a small child in your pocket, and it's really bulging out. Can you like take your stuff out of your pocket and I'll like hold it for a second, like while I can make this photo? I mean, obviously it's done already. So in post, you can like use liquefy and push this back in, but stuff that you see, as soon as you look at someone, you look at them up and down and you're like, good shoes. From the bottom, you're like, good shoes. Okay. Pant cuts. Okay. Okay. Boom. You got something in your pocket. Take it out of your pocket. Oh, your hands. Okay. Your hands tucked doesn't work. Can you put your hands deep in your pocket? When they put their hands deep in their pocket, I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to see if I can stand up and do this, but you're not going to be able to hear me, but watch this. When they're like this, right? Which is what he's doing. What you're trying to do is get him to just go like this and then just like lean. You know what I mean? It's so, or have him cross his arms and like lean. So it's small things, but that just doesn't look right. So just get him to just bring his arms in. His arms are huge already. We see that he's jacked. You don't need to have him emphasize that by doing that. Small thing, but how we get out of like having photos that we're shooting amazing photos, but the only thing that's wrong is what the subject is doing. Like they're doing, and it's like, we have to have the confidence to pose people in a way that's not a pose. The no pose is the pose. It's almost like there's no photo happening. If you can make it so there's no photo happening, but then they look at camera, now you have something. But the problem is guys want to be like as soon as you put a camera on a guy, he's like, so especially people who aren't used to being in front of the camera. So we have to undo that. That's like our responsibility. All right. It's again, your first attempt, and the fact that you want to shoot people, you're going to. Like, I can see it. You have cover composition already. You already understand how to compose an editorial photo. You already understand visually color composition. You understand color composition. You understand tone. You understand shooting in open shade. You didn't put him in horrible light. You asked someone if you could take their picture and you took them to the exact spot that you should have took them. Like, it was great. It's just pose and getting him. And the more comfortable you get with directing people, now it's like the more comfortable that you get with directing people, then you look at a photographer like Jeff Lipsky. And once you really start getting comfortable with directing people, then your photography can actually really start to go crazy. Like, once you're comfortable with making people do exactly what you want them to do, there's no like, no, you're posing them exactly with the expression and everything. Like, you see this, like, even this is a bit of a pose, but it's an unposed pose. It's posed, it's set up. Okay, guys, grab the boards, go up to the top of the hill, walk. I'm going to shoot as you're looking. You're saying, look at this way. You're telling him to look that way. Like, this is all directed. Do you know what I mean? It's just all directed, but it looks so real. Like, that's the whole point. Once you learn how to direct people, you're able to create concepts and really push your executions to a way other level. And again, because you're wanting to start shooting people and you're wanting to start learning how to pose people, you gotta look at editorial photographers. You gotta look at photographers that actually do this. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not showing my pictures because hopefully you guys know them already, but
yes or yes,
I'm an editorial shooter, and I made a video about editorial rules, like how to shoot for magazines, and The posing, I need to make a video on posing, because the new pose is no pose. The new pose is the unpose. The unpose is the pose. The unpose is the pose. This is the unpose. You see, she's not posing. She's just looking, but she's posing. The unpose is the pose. She's posing. She's not posing. The unpose is the pose. He's posing, but he's not posing. You see? So different, right? It's like this. And you see, once you see the difference, but he doesn't know. It's not your fault. It's like, and you don't know. But once you start looking at like how you actually shoot people, you're like, oh my God, this guy doesn't pose as people at all. And I'm like, exactly. So I would look at Jeff Lipsky. It's great for inspiration as far as posing. I hope that helped. Let's go. All right, that was photography from Devlin. Durrell had a fun afternoon with my nephew. After a little coaching, agreed to sit with me. Oh my goodness. So I can't read all these stories because it definitely, I have to read this, my God. Okay, had a fun afternoon with my nephew who, after a little coaching, agreed to sit with me. The story behind our relationship is 2 years ago, 6 months after him and his dad was Daryl's best friend, moved into my basement suite. We together found his dad deceased in his father's bedroom. The kid lost it after a while, and they had to put him into care where he still resides. But as of late, we've been spending more time together. Time heals all wounds. Having him here today was special, and wanting to sit for me was amazing. He wanted to wear my graduation cap and gown from a recent graduation. We talked about his past and future choices as I took photos. I had to read that story. Taken with the R6 Nifty 50, 400th of a second, 2.2 ISO 100, single strobe and reflector. Daryl is one of the newest members in my mentorship program. Daryl. Wow. The stories, man. The stories are just incredible. And I can't do anything except just stare, and listening to your words and knowing like you're the same photographer that I talked to like just a week ago, no? Like, I've had one session with you, my guy. Like, what is happening? Like, you really, really pushed something here. Like, this makes me feel something. And again, Daryl, like, this is really special. It's really, really special. I would love you to have punched in a little bit. I noticed that it's cropped a little narrower. It's not quite an 8x12. It's kind of more like a 6x12. I'm interested to know if you cropped it. It's a fantastic photo. It's a fantastic photo. You look at this up close, like brilliant. His eye line, for me, he's looking a little bit left. And because he's looking a little left, we get just a little bit too much eye goo, but it's fine. Seeing just a little bit too much of the white of his eye, I would rather his eyes right here with him looking, he's still looking off. It's just he's not looking off so far. Do you know what I mean? Because when you look at it at glance, you can see like he's looking behind him that way. If he was looking more like this way, up this way, I mean, I think it would make his eyes more a predominant part of the picture, and they're such a important part of this picture. For me, this is absolutely an 11 out of 10. Absolutely. Like, I know how far you've come, and you've come far. So one session, you're absolutely blowing me away with your choice of subject matter, your story, and your execution. And this is all from us talking about you telling these stories, and you're hitting it out of the park with your first shot. Let's go. Very proud of you, Daryl. Good job. Good job. Wow. Wow. Okay. Guys, just keep them coming. Keep them coming. Wowzer. All right, let's see. Geez, we got quite a few still left. All right. Black Phoenix. Finally got in. Okay, my first submission. Is it my best? Absolutely not, but I'm submitting. I'm excited that for that alone. My niche is urban lifestyle. I wasn't sure what to submit with the whole hero thing, but this is what I came up with. A shot with the Nikon 5600 with a 35 1.8. Yeah, let's go. All right, let's have a look. I do appreciate the like variety store dépanneur bodega photo. Definitely appreciate the vibe. There's lots of lines that aren't straight, and because you have these lines here, because you have this line here and this line here, because they're crooked and our eye has a reference point, we actually have a reference point, which is the frame right next to it. Like, we have to straighten that line. But the problem is with the 35 millimeter, if you're shooting a 35 millimeter, it's like, it's not going to give you straight lines because it's wide angle. I feel like this picture punched in a little bit, like just cropped in just a bit in order to take away that line is something that I think would work for me. I do like the background. It starts to become, with the backwoods and the tobacco wraps, like kind of cool. The existing light, unfortunately, isn't inspiring. You're shooting inside with no light, just with the light that exists. He's wearing a hat. That hat is going to block the light that's coming from this top light that's lighting his face, which makes it a little muddy. The exposure could be like maybe half a stop brighter. Overall, the attitude and the idea of you being in someone's face and shooting portraits with this lens, I want more. Like, I want more. I would love to see you do this outside, because outside you're not dealing with the same lighting issues as you are when you're shooting under cheesy fluorescent lights, which aren't really flattering for anybody. I want to see you try the same approach, which asking strangers to shoot portraits outside. Use the same lens. And I'd also like to see you use a 50, which is going to be a little bit less bendy with the lines and a little bit more of a normal perspective if you're shooting with a full frame. If you're shooting with if you're shooting with an APS-C, 35 is a 55 millimeter, so you're already shooting that. And I do not know, let me see what camera you said you're shooting with. Nikon D5600. I do not know if that's full frame or not. I don't know. I don't know Nikons. But I definitely know that this is an idea, and I want to see you execute more. Also, when you submit, make sure that your photos are 4,000 pixels wide, like that way, by whatever, and at 100 DPI. Yeah, that says DPI. Yeah, at 100 DPI, so I can enlarge them. It makes it really easy for me to check focus with this picture because it's not 4,000 pixels wide. I can only enlarge it that big. Therefore, I can't really zoom in on it, and I can't check your focus. Yeah, that's my suggestion for you. Thank you for submitting. I'd like to see you submit some stuff where you're shooting outside. I think that you're in New York, maybe? Even if you are, go outside, shoot some photos. There's lots of people out still. All right. Thank you, Black Phoenix, for your first submission. Jessica Jean. For this submission, I wanted to create an editorial style hero photo shot of my husband. He's a videographer and a documentary filmmaker. So my concept was to do a BTS shot of him on set. We tried to turn our living room into a studio with a talking head interview set I can't say that the shot turned out exactly how I envisioned it. It was challenging and I had to Photoshop out a prop that wasn't working. Also, shout out to my husband for being cool with me nailing the black backdrop to our ceiling. Thank you, Carty. All right, this is a photograph from Jessica Jean. Jessica, this is Aces. Aces. I mean, it's banging. Banging. Like the offset, you shot it, like you composed it, you nailed it. Like everything for this picture is on the button. Like I have nothing but good vibes to say here. First of all, let's look at the gutter. The gutter exists right here. This is like, you couldn't have placed him better. Like honestly, you couldn't have placed him better. The article goes right here. Like talking about him, his life as a filmmaker. This is the perfect editorial photograph. The light that you have on his face is inspired. I mean, you have a really nice ratio difference between one side and the other. You could have even gone a little bit more contrasty. You could have gone a little bit more dramatic with this light, considering he's a filmmaker. But you also wanted to bring detail up on the camera and his gear. You also wanted to have a little bit of detail back here. Like, this is Aces. Absolutely 11 out of 10. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, make sure you stay to the end of this episode where I will award some photos of the week. All right. Way to go, Jessica. That's a great shot. All right. Let's get into our next viewer, Milan. Not having much time lately. It's why I can share a hero picture of the low sun. And honestly love how most pictures when the sun, like, I guess, and honestly love most pictures when the camera is straight at the sun. Thank you for being here for us, Carty. Appreciate you, Milan. This is pretty. It's definitely a pretty moment. It's definitely a pretty moment. I feel like your camera sensor's having a little bit of issues reconciling the light and the dark. But again, it's just because the exposure here in the sun area, imagine this wants to be f22. And then imagine now the shade area, meaning up here in the trees, wants to be f4. So you have f22 here, and what's happening, and because of that, up here where you have both a really low exposure and a really high exposure, you start to lose detail in here. So for me, how you reconcile that is you crop it differently. And when you see this shot, for me, this is a horizontal picture that you made vertical. I actually want to see this shot. I actually want to see the shot this way. Like, let's go. Aiden, welcome back. I actually want to see the shot this way, where now you're removing that top part that's actually distracting, and you're using the top of the trees, you're using the left and right tree as a border so you can actually focus on the sun. Like for me, this is how I would crop it as a horizontal picture, and then it works between two pages. Seeing how you've cropped it, like I definitely see you've made it an 8x10, but there's too much, I think, unimportant, because up here isn't really important, and it's actually taking your eye away from this, which is what you want to see. And the way that you cropped this tree right here and left so much room on this side, it's also making me want to help you with your horizontal back and forth cropping. When you're taking these photos, it can't ever just be one. When you're taking these photos, you shoot vertical, you shoot horizontal. Like, you can shoot 20, 30 pictures in this one spot and find your 11. I shoot 100 photos for a single picture, 100. You can't, I got it, because you're not that good, especially if you're new. You can't shoot a single frame and think you're gonna nail it. When you shoot a single frame, that's what you have, because you haven't shot through the picture, shot through the idea. You have to shoot hundreds of pictures when you're trying to get magic. So I think I can only like crop this and manipulate this into something that works as, for me, a more interesting photo. But again, there is no real subject here other than the sun, and we all see sunsets all the time. This is taking photos, and I'm trying to shift your mindset, Milan, into the place where you're making photos, meaning you have an idea and you're executing it, not you see something pretty and you're taking a photo of it, because everybody does that. Everybody with an iPhone takes photos. The idea, if you're trying to be a photographer, is making photos. So your hero photo has to be you executing an idea, because that's way harder. It's way harder for you to come up with an idea for a picture and then take it, rather than you to go outside and see something that you like and snap a photo. So that's the difference between taking pictures and making pictures. And I'm really trying to help you shift your mindset into making photos, because every photo that you've seen that's been submitted, that people that you're freaking out over, has all been idea and execution. So let's think about that angle for your hero photos. Thank you for submitting, Milan. All right. So this is my brother submitting, just not really for review, but just letting in a little bit of my family. He says 3 heroes. These are my 3 heroes. This is my Uncle Bobby, who is my mom's brother, who's done so much for my family and looking after my mom. This is my mama, who is 85 years young and still kicking, 85. And this is my sister. My sister has special needs. She was born deaf with a hole in her heart. You can see her hearing aids. And my sister, my older sister, has looked after me forever. And that is her with her grandchild, because her daughter has children. So this is her with one of her grandchildren. Brother, thank you for sharing family and some heroes. Let's go, my guy, big guy. Let's go. Big brother Les. Appreciate you, Les. All right, Dreadfully Blessed. Hope you guys are doing well today. Welcome to the visionary world of Auto Lux imagery, where I embark on transformative journey through the lens of automotive artistry. As a passionate automotive photographer, I break free from the conventional, weaving vibrant hues, captivating lines, and the interplay of light and shadow into a symphony of visual poetry. Shot on the 5D Mark II, 200th of a second, f9, ISO 100, shot at 130. Holy crow. This is bananas. Wow. Wow. This is insanity. Look at the detail. Like, oh my goodness. This is car photography. Like, this is conceptual. This is artful. This is technically perfect. Like, literally technically perfect, and definitely deserves to be on the cover of Behind the Picture magazine. Like, look at that. Let's go. Dreadfully. This is... What? This is insane. I've never seen anything like it. This is spectacular. And I use that word never. I never use that word, because that word cannot be thrown around lightly. This is nuts. So good, so good, so good. And you articulately expressed what it is that you're trying to do with your car photography. The only thing that I can say is more. I want more. I want to see portfolio. I want to see website. I want to see where you are. And I also want to know why you're not a household name. Like, oh my God, this is exceptional. So good. So good. Like, wow. The lines, the light, the post-production, the exposure, how clean it is. discipline. You have it all.
Yes,
Like
sir,
this
yes.
is just
High quality content.
holy moly. Wow, guys. All right, we are getting very close to the end of today's episode. We are cutting off at Exploras. Sudha Shad, I see that you submitted, but you submitted way after the cutoff. We're gonna have to wait and look at that stuff next week. All right, let's look at Alice Who. Alice said, I didn't think I was going to be able to submit for this, but this is my hero shot. I sent this to my client for their high school graduation photos. My goal is to make work that stands out from the rest of my area. I want to do fun and funky and something different. This is a double exposure and my client loved it. This is photography from Vicky Sonic. Vicky, this is a great idea. Really clever idea. Really clever idea. There's a couple of small things with the execution that you can definitely fix. Just a couple of small things in here with your erasing. You can see in here, just make sure that you have these edges just perfect, because you can see here, this is all part of your masking, and a little bit down here. Just make sure that you nail that. There's also a little bit of masking mistakes up here, a little bit of dust on the frame right there, a little bit of a masking error over here. Small things. Also, the what's it called? The tassel thingy. There should be a way for you to erase and have it so this button and this tassel thingy feels like it's sort of a little bit raised, because when you see it at this level and you look at it this close, you can actually see like, oh no, that is actually just a double exposure. Where if you had the tassel, I guess, printed and just coming out a little bit in a different exposure, it would have that feeling like it was printed on it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's what you're trying to do, but I just feel like that's just a small thing. And just make sure that when you're doing your post, that you zoom in to 100% and just really check all of these things so there's no outer edge mistakes. And once you get that, like, this is it's a really cool idea. My other thing is just try to not drop her right in the center. Like if you have, like, that's the center of your frame, so now that's putting her right in the center. Just push the hat just a little bit more this way, so it just gives, so she's not just right on the gutter. That's just going to give just a little bit more hand. You know what I mean? Small things, man. Just move the hand over so the hand ends here, then this starts more here, and then she's placed more here and outside of that center of the frame. That's my 2 cents, Vicky. This is a great idea and like definitely a great ad, this double exposure concept. I want to see how far you can take it. Like, you're going to do double exposures. Let's see how far you can take it. Like, I know that you're talented. I know that you love conceptual and you're really great at conceptual stuff. I just want to see, let's see how far Vicky can push it. Let me just have a little quick look here at, let me just show you a little bit of references because I like doing so. Let's just go to Behance and search double exposure photography and think if there's anything here that grabs you, like this kind of a vibe. You know, my vibe always is trying to see how far you can push an idea. Like, how far can you go with an idea? You know, so it almost really slows you down and makes you take 10 looks at it, you know, and this is just one that I picked and said, hey, what's this? Double exposure, you know, so that's one. Another idea, double exposure. Look at this for double exposures. Like, look at this idea, Vicky, for double exposures. There's just one there, it looks like. And look at this idea for double exposures. Although this is advertising, it's a really smart idea for double exposures, right? Look at this for double exposure. Just things to help you bend your brain just a little bit so you can think a little bit less linear, you know? I think that this could be a great thing for you to add to some of your clients. It's just different, you know? You shoot backgrounds all the time. Just think of a creative way that you can drop your subjects on top. You know, there's so many different ways that you can do it. There's so many different ways that you can make insane double exposures. Just need you to try and just try. You know, look at this idea. Mixing a still life with a studio shot. There's all kinds of ways you can play with double exposure. All kinds of ways. That's what I'm here for, to like literally just always show you things that bend your brain. Always. That's the whole point. Whole point. Again, most of the time we're contained. We look at what we look at. We go through the same routines. We do the same stuff all the time. You need someone else to like show you something that's different. Christina B, grandson, Alex, my hero, 3/20th of a second, f6.3, Nikon D500, 18 to 300. I would love to see you with a 50 millimeter lens, Christina. I think just a clean 50, it's a 1.8, it's super fast. An 18 to 300 is trying to be 10 lenses poorly. And it's this big, and you have to lug this whole thing. Like, just get a 50. Just get a f 1.8 50. It's like $200 for your Nikon. You'll be the happiest camper, and you'll be able to shoot it not just outside in lots of light. You'll be able to shoot it in low light. A 50 millimeter 1.8 is the difference between you shooting outside at like ISO 1600 or you being able to shoot the same scene at ISO 100. Like these 3.5 to 5.6 or 5.6 to f, like they're just ridiculous, these kit lenses that they try to make 7 lenses in one, and they end up being all bad lenses and not quite sharp. Let's look at your hero, which is your grandson. This is a great photo. I wish it was larger. One of the stipulations to submitting images, and I know you're new, so you're allowed to make mistakes, but I need the photo to be 4,000 pixels wide. If you don't resize it to 4,000 pixels, I can't click it and make it big. So because I can't click it and make it big, I can't enlarge it and see the actual quality, see the actual focus. When I do this, you can see that it's like it's pixelating because I don't have a big enough file. So that's one of the reasons it's not even filling. I'm looking at these on like super high res 4K screens, so I can actually see details in your photos that maybe you don't even see. The composition is great. You've pre-cropped this to 8x10. I definitely see the idea, the mood, the vibe. I want you to make sure that you don't go too top heavy with his eye line, because you can see his eye line's in the like basically like in a quarter. I want you to kind of drop his eye line a little lower, just because if you think about magazine covers, when we do magazine covers, the magazine masthead is up near the top of the frame. So if you're putting information so close to the top of the frame, there's no possibility of it ever being a magazine cover. And also, yes, you're pre-cropping this, so there might be more room on the top, but your room might only be on the bottom. I want you to be thinking about when you shoot your frame, the fact that you're thinking about pre-cropping for Instagram, amazing. But I also, when you're submitting, especially when you're new, I'd like to see the whole picture. I want to see the whole frame. And that makes me see how you're composing without cropping, how you're composing fully. So I can help you with your composition so you can nail more stuff in camera. As far as the exposure is amazing. Like the exposure is 100% check. The idea, the way that his hands are, the way that he's looking, like his eye line, the way his eye is looking is amazing. The textured clothing, the background, everything is cool. It's just, there's an overall exposure thing that's happening. I'm not sure if you're shooting raw. Hopefully you're shooting raw. If you're not shooting raw, you are absolutely not able to use any photos that you're taking because you can't shoot JPEGs and think that you can manipulate them. Like it just it butchers your files. It butchers your files. You can't shoot JPEGs and fix them on your phone and think that you're getting good files. What ends up happening is we start to get this digitizing, which is happening in the lower area of this photo. Just overall, there just looks like it's noisy, and I can't tell if it's noisy because you're shooting JPEG. I can't tell if it's noisy because you're shooting RAW and then processing the RAW to a JPEG and then JPEGing the JPEG, meaning opening and closing and opening and closing the JPEG over and over and over again. And that's why you're you're doing something to your files that's destroying the files. So I want to help you with that. So often new photographers, because they don't know what RAW is, they shoot JPEGs and they don't know that they're shooting like a compressed version of the data that you can't ever get back. So shoot RAW even if you don't know what to do with your RAW, or shoot RAW plus JPEG. So at least you have the RAW files back. When you learn how to do the stuff with the RAW files, you can go back to them. So I feel like there's something going on here with this file. I would love to see this file 4,000 pixels wide, and I'd also like to see or hear how you're processing it. Are you shooting RAW? Are you JPEGing a JPEG? What is happening that's making it so I'm experiencing data loss in the back of this photo? Because there's data loss here. Your exposure, your idea, like the light, your time of day, like decisive moment, you have all of that stuff going for you. I just want to help you technically, because you can't proceed being and capturing amazing moments, but not know what to do in post-production. You know what I mean? You can't be destroying your photos in post-production, but making beautiful photographs. You got to know both sides of it. You got to know how to really master post-production. And that's what I need to learn more about that side of your photography. Christina B, I hope that helps you. All right, we are down to our last few photos. Let's see what Rachel has to say. Rachel says, my name's Rachel. I'm a dance teacher and a photographer in Orange County. I shoot portraits, headshots, live, and rehearsals. Thank you so much. Excited to be a new member. I used to just do photography on the side, but I'm falling in love with it and I'm ready to push myself to the next level. Amazing. So compositionally, like I definitely see what you're trying to do. Photographing these dancers in class, it's amazing. It's very high key. The exposure's great. I'm worried about the focus. The focus on her face is just a little soft. I'm not sure if you included what lens or camera equipment that you're shooting with. You did not. So if you're shooting with a kit lens, if you're shooting with the 18 to 55 that it came with the camera, if you're shooting with the lens that says 3.5 to 4.5, like all of those things, and you're trying to shoot inside, it just makes it super difficult. A 50 millimeter lens is how you learn photography. You learn with a 50. You can grow with a 50, and a 50 millimeter is still the lens that I used most. You have nice depth of field here. So I'm wondering, I really want to know what this lens is. Problem is that you're thinking very literal as far as your composition. You're putting your subject dead center in the frame, which naturally you would think that is how you compose something, but actually you have to think about a magazine. And if this is 2 pages in a magazine, then this person, Alisa, drops right on the gutter. So the gutter of the magazine goes like this. So that's right where you're putting your most important thing, which is why when we shoot horizontal, we don't drop anything important in the center. We got to put it on the left side or we put it on the right side. That's that sort of like horizontal composition. A great example would be an earlier submission where it's this photo right here from Jessica Jean. And exactly this is how you compose a double page spread. Is when you shoot horizontal, you have to bias your subject on one side or the other. So seeing your subject right here dead center, you can understand now where it makes it difficult to put her anywhere in a magazine, and it makes it really hard for you to place her. The next thing, because you're so disciplined about keeping her in the center of the frame, you're actually missing what's happening to the left of her. And what's happening to the left of her is this beautiful array of dancers that are behind her, all doing the exact mirror of what she's doing. Oh my goodness. So because they're all doing the exact mirror of what she's doing with the arms out and the arms out, you now naturally, your eye follows the arm. And as soon as you follow the arm here, you see that you've cut the hand off, you've cut the hand off, you've cut the hands off, and you're starting to cut them off. Whereas if you moved your camera that way, now that pushes her that way, it pushes him that way. This is all unnecessary space. This is all unnecessary space, but it's there because you think that we need to put your subject right in the center, which is not a thing. Not with horizontal, okay? You got to push that over. You got to push that over, which now brings all these people over and also doesn't cut off their fingers. So it just composes the photo better. It makes the whole flow better. And then our eye has something to look at all the way through. The fact that these are cut so abruptly, it's like distracting for our eye, and it makes us want to like look away. Also, there's a contrast thing. This is black, this is black, this is black, this is black. This is all black. But if you look at this, this isn't black. It's actually kind of grayish. So I also want you to make sure that you're nailing your contrast, meaning it doesn't have to be jet 100% D-max. There should be some detail, but this picture doesn't have black enough blacks. So I hope that helps you. Shooting horizontal is a thing, but again, don't drop your subject in the center. It's like, that's the most basic composition, is your subject right in the center, holding the camera like that. Try to be more creative with the compositions if you're trying to go into photography. And also, the less distracting the background, the more interesting the photo. The less distracting the background, the more interesting the photo. You see this photo here that Jessica Jean submitted. There's one element in this photo, and that's the subject. The second element is the camera. So you remove the amount of elements in the photos, it removes distractions, and it has you looking just at one thing. When you try to have lots of elements in the photo like this, we're looking at what's like, we're now dancing around the several things that are happening. And you also have this vent up here and this thing over here and this darkness over here. And of course the name tags, like the more you start to look at that, the more you start to see things that are distracting. So we're trying to remove distractions. When you're shooting pictures or when you're taking pictures, this is taking pictures over making pictures. You have to slow down and talk. Be like, hey, sir, excuse me. If you want me to take this, can you just exit out of my photo for a second so I can get a shot of these girls? Perfect. You know what I mean? And then he can come back in the photo. You have to use your voice, especially if you're taking pictures. You have to get some sort of control so you can actually get the stuff that you want. I hope that helps. All right, let's go on to our next shooter. That was photography from Rachel Scott, first submitter. Let's go, Rachel. Thanks for submitting. Great first job. And again, I know you're new. It's hard, but we all start somewhere. We all start from scratch, and you get better by taking photos. So keep shooting and shoot way more than you think that you need to. I shoot 100 photos for one photo. I shoot 100 photos for one photo. So if you're shooting one photo for one photo, or you're shooting 2 photos for one photo, you're not shooting enough photos to get that magic photo. And especially if you're taking pictures, it's like shooting a hockey game. You got to shoot lots in order to to compositionally get it perfect. It's way easier to make pictures because then there's nothing in the photo that you don't want there. You slow down. And also, you could take this picture. I mean, you could make this picture simply by slowing down and like standing where the teacher is standing. Instead of standing where you're standing, which is skimming them,
Gifted
stand where the
member.
teacher's standing. Let's go. Oki just gifted 5 members. Listen, Oki has gifted more members to this channel than anybody else. Literally, Oki's at 40. He's gifted
New
40
member.
members to this channel. 40. Oki, my goodness. You're insane. Thank you, Oki. Thank you. You just keep giving.
New member.
Thank you. My goodness, all of you that are getting this new member alert right now, you all just got gifted memberships from Oki. My goodness, man. Thank you, Oki. You're so generous. I really appreciate you.
New
I'm glad you're
member.
here. Insane. So I hope that helps you, Robin. And you can see how pushing Rachel, my bad. You can see how just
New
slowing down
member.
and standing where the professor, the dance teacher, is standing in this context. Now you're able to have the dancers all lined up like in a very order
New
fashion.
member.
And then you just need to hide yourself so that you're not seen in the mirror and get your photo. I have big hopes for you. I just want to keep seeing you submit photos. Keep submitting photos. Keep shooting. Good job. Nat. Sony AR7 II ISO 800 3.2 55 millimeter 1 ISO ISO 800 1/60th of a second. All right, let's have a look at Nat and Nat's photo. Nat, I see what you're doing. I'm wondering if you're using on-camera flash. I don't think so. You're bringing in some light from the side. I can tell from your highlight, and I can also tell from where the shadow is on the glasses that the light is coming in from the side. I can also tell that the light's not coming from a top angle based on where the highlight is in the eyes. My suggestion is definitely bringing the light a little bit higher down because it's looking really flat. Like it has a little bit of that flat quality because you're hitting him with the same height as the light there. Like, and as an example, if you look at how the light is here in my space, you'll see the light's above me, aiming down. The light always has to be above, aiming down. It can't be at the same level aiming at him, which is what this light is. It's at the same level, and you can actually see because light travels in straight lines. So because light travels in straight lines, all I need to do is just follow this glasses arm, and you can see where the glasses arm is making the shadow is telling me that your light is literally like right here blasting at him. So it has to be higher. And also, yeah, it has to be higher because that's going to bring some shape to his cheeks. And you're also, it looks like you have 2 lights. Like there's a light here, but there's also a light coming in here, which is giving this other thing and these double shadows. And the light that's coming in here is at the same exposure. It's at the same exposure as the light that's coming in here. So because these 2 lights are at the same exposure, they're almost canceling each other out. And there's no light and dark. There's no highlight and shadow. It's just like a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning you got F8 here and you got F8 here. So they cancel each other out. You see here what's happening with the light. I have a highlight up here on the top of my head. So because I have a highlight on the top of my head, the exposure with this light is brighter than the exposure here, which means that this highlight reads as a highlight. If I lowered the power of this light till it was even, it wouldn't show it as a highlight at all. You know what I mean? Also, the light that's in the front is brightening, but also molding here. which is also narrowing my face because it's not shadowing me from here down, but it is lighting me from here up, which narrows my face and makes me look like Zoolander. You know, it's lighting. You know what I mean? And I know lighting, so even lighting myself, I know how to do that. So with this, you're lighting like there's no ratio because you probably don't have a light meter. And if you're trying to light a face without a light meter, this is what you get, which is it's kind of a mess. I hate to be so dry, but it's kind of a mess. And it's just because there's no intention with the light. The guitar, that's the idea, is you're trying to show the guitar. And I definitely appreciate that. But the way that the light is like, I see this highlight here, the highlight in his hair, which because the hair is further that way than his skin, the light here is going to be brighter than the light here. And also his hair is black. So when light hits black hair, it's going to catch and read as brighter, but skin at the same exposure is not. So because of that for me, and also these are coming in very odd at a place on his face, and he has glasses and he has a beard. So there's almost like too much face ornamentation for this photo for you to actually notice the guitar. Do you know what I mean? You see that there's a guitar here, but you don't really notice it because of these. So my thing would be, instead of having the guitar neck like this, have the guitar neck like this. You still see it's a guitar, but it allows more of his face to come through. And you don't have doink, 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 doink sticking out the side coming into his face. You have it this way, so those go this way. So you still see it's a guitar, but it reveals way less distractions on top of the face. And also, if you even just look at how the light is hitting my face right now, when I go like dark light, like it's actually darker on this side than it is on this side because the light's coming from here. So that also gives shape and dimension to the face. And you can see you're not doing that here. You're actually taking shape and dimension away from his face by the way that you're lighting him. So there's like a couple of small things. Like I appreciate the attempt. I appreciate you swinging for fences, but there's a couple of mistakes. The guitar, the way that the light, not like lighting from here instead of from up here, like small things like that. If you just shot it again, after knowing what I've just told you after this critique and submitted that reshot photo, it would be like up here. You know what I mean? But again, we start from scratch, all of us. So as an attempt, this is good. The crop, you cropped it for a magazine cover. It's a very disciplined crop. So you have all the elements, even the fact that the background, you put it on a non-distracting background, you have all the elements there. I just want you to try again. And then overall also, because of the way that you did the cancellation with the light, it looks gray. It has like an overall gray in his skin tone, gray in his shirt, gray in the blacks, gray in the background. So just be wary of that next time. Cool beans. Good luck. I want to see what that next shot looks like. Holy, we've been going for 2 hours here. 2 hours. And yes, I still keep going. We have 4 photographs left. E-Friend. A hero shot for me successfully bridges the divide between fashion and portraiture. I feel like keeping things minimalist and pared down helps me to better capture the character of the sitter while exploring my personal interpretation of modern elegance. With this image, I wanted a natural broad SAF backlight coming through large windows. It was very dark and raining that day, so I used artificial light to attempt this with 2 Elinchrom softboxes. Shot with a Nikon 850 50mm 160 200th of a second at f8. This is E-Friend. E-Friend doesn't mess around. E-Friend, this is great. Really good. I mean, we know that it's artificial light. I mean, I know that it's artificial light, but this like hazy background like is really nice. I feel like you could have gone even more in exposure. Like up here is probably +1, and then here is normal, right? So I feel like back here in the background, you could have gone 1 1/3, 1 2/3, or even +2. Once you start getting into that, the light starts to wrap. The light starts to bleed around her. And if you inch her into the background a little bit, I think like that's what is missing on this one. If you inch her into the background, and let me just close some of these because, you know, I open 75 windows and then it slows down because Safari's a bit of a hog. If you, let me show you what I mean with this light. If you inch them back into the light more, you start to get this kind of a feeling where the light is like wrapping around them. You see how you have like a relatively, I mean, it's great because you maintain detail. But if you look at the white, you can see this is up here. This is plus, oops, I'm making circles now, bruh. What is happening? Up here is +1. Over here on the edge is neutral. This is neutral, which is the same exposure that you're getting here. Down here is neutral. This is why this is white, and this background, which is supposed to be white, is not white. This is why you can see the difference. Now, when I show you my flick and you look at this and my picture on white, you see my white and you see the difference here where this is my background and this is the white of the web, like just white, 100% white. You see the different, and meaning this here, this is 2 stops over in the background, and you see how it's wrapping around him. So that just means increase the power of the light in the background and let it bleed just a little bit. I'm going to show you one more example where it's a woman, and again, well, I'll show you more.
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is another one with black skin, and seeing how when you let the light bleed, you can see what's happening. Like now that light like wraps around, the light's wrapping around her because she's pushing into the white, but it's like it's kicking just enough. And again, you can see here, this is a perfect white. You can see this is my picture, this is a white background, and you see no difference between the white of my background is white on my website, 100% white, and the photograph. You see no difference. And this isn't a knockout. This is done in camera. So that kind of, also 2 lights in the background. You can't do this with a single light. You need 2 lights, but this is how clean it can be. Friend, it can be that clean. Obviously you didn't go that far with this one, but I feel like the exposure could be up a bit. I feel like it's a little muddy, like in her skin here, it's just a little gray. And because we have this also gray, and this white dress also reads gray, and then her red Converse also reads gray, and her skin is kind of reading gray. I feel like overall the exposure, you could up this exposure at least half a stop without losing any of the integrity here, and still having, like, it'll snap the whites up a bit. It's gonna snap this up a bit without losing detail. So that's my suggestion, is bump the exposure up. Everything else, your composition, your vibe, the way that you continually just excel within your niche, you are the epitome of a fashion photographer with a portrait style, or a portrait photographer with a fashion sensibility, which is exactly what I do. And it's so funny because if you look at my portfolio, that's exactly what I do. I'm a fashion photographer, or I'm a portrait photographer with a fashion sensibility. Portrait photographer with a fashion sensibility. I take my history of being a fashion photographer and I apply it to real people, but I also, you know, shoot models and styly stuff every once in a while, but it's a fashion photography sensibility with a portrait approach almost, you know? So you do very much the same thing that I do, Stephen, and know that, like, again, I'm wanting this from you. And you can see here where you don't see, and again, not close crop. This is done with light. You can see you can't see the edge of the photo. It just floats. It's called a perfect white. Like this is what I want you to be practicing. Perfect whites, you know? Good job though, Stephen. I mean, my expectations of you're such a good photographer. My expectations of you are always up here, my guy. So when you deliver things like this, and I'm like, and my reaction is like, yeah, Stephen, that's good. You know, it's good, you know, but bang, 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 bang. You remember the last time you got photo of the week, how I was just slamming, you know? I wanted to take this picture and compare it to that one where you won photo of the week, and you can see this is just a little muddy. That's it. Good job. Good job. Good job. Stephen, also known as eFriend. Let's go. Good submission. All right. Romeo, here's my submission. My daughter helping me out with the modeling. I got support from my wife, my daughter, big time. I took so many different ones, it was hard choosing which one to submit. This is a photo from Romeo, shooting a portrait of his daughter. Romeo, let's go. Again, really, like, your attempts and your swings are getting so good. Your swings are getting good. I'm going to help you. Lighting. The lighting, it's the same thing, I think, with our other photographer who was doing with the aiming of the light. You're aiming your light sideways, and your light has to come that way. And look what it's doing with the nose shadow. You see this shadow here? This is a direct proportion as to where the light is placed. That light is here based on her head angle. So because light travels in straight lines, and you're putting this not a flattering shadow on her face, that is how you light a face. That's the only thing you're looking for, is the nose shadow. That is what you're looking for, the nose shadow. So when you shoot a test and you see a nose shadow that is this radical, what you do is you draw a straight line, and you draw a straight line from the tip of her nose in the nose shadow to here. Now, what do we want to happen? We want to fill this open pocket of light that's not like the shadow needs to be there, and where the shadow is where the shadow is here needs to be open light. That's called Rembrandt lighting, which is what we're trying to do. How we fix it, because light travels in straight lines, how we fix it is super simple. We sky the light, and I'm going to show you exactly how you do it. If you draw a straight line and nose to this shadow to this shadow, I can see that that is exactly where the light is placed. Yes or yes? You can see that that's where the light is placed. It's right here. So if the light, oops, that's not it. If the light is placed, that's it right there. The light is on that angle, and you want her head to be at that angle, and you want the nose shadow to go lower. You need to sky the light. And in skying the light, we want the shadow to push here. So we want the shadow to push here. That means in order for the light needs to be up there. So that's it. Once you put the light there with her head and everything at the same angle, that's going to push the nose shadow. Now the nose shadow is going to push down here like that. And you have this. So essentially you're creating that pocket of light that you're looking for, which is essentially Rembrandt lighting. I made a video about it. It's called 2 Simple Ways to Flatter with One Light. I show you how to do butterfly lighting. I show you how to do Rembrandt lighting. I show you how to do it step by step, where to stand, how to look, and like you can nail it every time. But there is an up-down height thing with the light, and I'm so specific about it. I inch my lights up in like inches. Jason, move it up another centimeter, no, 2 centimeters, no, like, and it's all about controlling where the nose shadow falls. The light goes up, the nose shadow goes down. The light goes down, the nose shadow goes up. It's all depending on that nose shadow. If you're always watching for that nose shadow, you'll be able to light any face. But that is what we're looking for. As far as your quality, Romeo, you have stepped up on such a level. The idea, you're making pictures, not taking pictures. You have an idea and you're executing it. Look at this as a cover. This is the same suggestion that I made earlier, where this daughter looks regal. She looks like a queen. Photograph her in costume, put her in character, like really play this up as you learn your light placement. The second thing, I'm not sure if you're using studio lights or what. If you're using studio lights, let's make sure you have a light meter so you can actually meter the light perfectly. The other thing is a reflector here on this side, kicking light back to fill in this shadow. Also a second light back here, giving possible a separation here. Like, there's so many things that you can do. Once you master placing one light, now you can place 3 lights, but you need to learn how to place 1 first. And that has to do with following that nose shadow. And by the way, you light her perfectly, then she moves her face, and the shadow, everything changes. So if this was the pose, then tell her to hold that pose, and then you go fix the light. I hope that helps you, Romeo. Good job. Good job. And then there were 2. Aiden says, one of my heroes in the kitchen, sesame oil. 5D Mark II, 300 millimeter macro, f16, 1/4 of a second, ISO 100. You hear how slow the ISO, the shutter speed is, eh? 1/4 of a second, ISO 100. He's not shooting people. He can shoot at whatever shutter speed he wants. Let's look at this picture from Aiden. Wow, Aiden, this is an ad. This is great. This is an ad. Seriously. You pre-cropped it for me. You pre-cropped it for me to 8x10 or like a 9x12. I want you to watch your headspace here. Make sure that you're not going too far to the top of the frame. I like seeing this yellow because this yellow here of the ground jumps off this, but it would equally be strong if it was cut there. And in fact, it might be more strong if it's cut there, because that's going to give even more emphasis on the upper yellow. Like, look at that, right? Like, just that crop. Now your emphasis on the yellow is here and here. And you really see the product, and this becomes your background. And I actually notice this more when it's cropped like this. When it's cropped like this and I see the bottom, my eye is now trying to balance this with this. So I balance this and this, I balance this, and now rather than seeing the cap, I'm seeing the base. So for me, this picture is here. This picture is here. Whoops, not so wide. Like, with a little bit of a punch in. Like, this picture is here, right? And also, I want more black on top. I want more black on top. I want a little bit more headspace so it feels more like a magazine cover. This is an idea, and I hope you shot lots of it. And also, when you do these executions, I also want to see like details, like shoot the top. I want to see angles. I want you to really be creative. Also, lay it down. Spread the sesame seeds on the base and lay the product down and shoot top down with the sesame seeds all around. I understand the stacking and shooting it that way, but Aiden, shoot the hell out of these ideas. Like literally flatten it down, push it, bring the sesame seeds up around, do top down, like really think of all the different ways that you can shoot this idea. Your jet black is perfect. The sharpness is perfect. Your color is perfect. Your saturation is perfect. The idea is 100% there. I want you to now like I'm sure you did shoot the hell out of it. This is a very, like, it's a commercial photo. It already looks like it was used for something. Great job. Great job. Aiden, one of our food photographers. So good. And the last photo of the day that I'm looking at is exploras.pa. After the last photo review, I wanted to do something a little different while following the advice I've been getting from Carty and other photographers. This photo is of my lady taking on the Nikon 3200 using a 50mm prime. I keep going back to it after the last podcast, which Carty mentioned that Lightroom should be the hospital while Photoshop should be the practice where surgeons are. So I'm still figuring everything out. I try to explain, like, Lightroom's the hospital. Every patient goes through the hospital. Only certain patients need to go to surgery. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Yes, you can do surgery in the hospital, but there's certain things. You shouldn't be fixing skin in Lightroom. You fix skin in Photoshop. All right, let's look at Exploras. What a picture. What a picture. There's really great mood here. Really great mood. I just want to make sure what you're doing to your files in post. I think you're JPEGing a JPEG, because if you're shooting raw, looking at the files, like, you guys can see how this file looks digital. It just looks a little bit more digital than it needs to. And I don't think that that's because your ISO is too high. I think it's because of post-production of something. Like, either you're processing a JPEG and then you're opening the JPEG and doing something, and then you're opening it again and doing something, and you're opening it again and doing something, and you're opening it, like, whatever you're doing to your files, you're killing your files. Shoot raw, process a TIFF from the raw, that's your master, and then make JPEGs, make sizes. If you want to make adjustments, go back to the raw file, duplicate that raw file, make adjustments to the duplicate, make a new TIFF, and make JPEGs from that new TIFF. Like, you can't do manipulations to JPEGs because it kills your files. And what you're doing, and I don't know what it is, but what you're doing to your files, you're killing your files. And I need to know what it is so I can help you fix it. Like, all of this stuff in here, this is not data. This is not 100% data. This is data loss. So I need to know what it is, because, like, as a photograph, there's an idea here. It's a cover. There's an idea here. But if we don't get a handle as to what you're doing technically, being able to compose amazing photos is useless if, when people enlarge it and look at the file, everything falls apart. Like, this is, when we're this close, I shouldn't be seeing this kind of digital, like, this is all data loss, all of this. So I need to know what you're doing so we can not have this happening. Like, fabric, the way that the fabric is getting all digital, like, yeah, we got to fix this, because once we fix it, you'll be able to make these photographs without those problems, so we can actually see the craft. The light is great, the idea is great, the wrap, the execution, all of this is great. It's just, what are you doing to your files? Like, let's fix that, because you're screwing them up. We got to fix it, because you can't have your, like, you're spending so much effort, you're spending so much time lighting, so much time getting the right props and the right idea and all that stuff, and all of that to just lose it in post-production. It's like, do you have a PC? It looks like you have a PC and a bad monitor. Like, what's your computer life like? Like, again, people don't realize, like, they want to be a photographer and they spend so much time on their or their money on their camera, but what does their computer setup look like? If you look at what my computer setup looks like, Mac Mini, dual 4K monitors, retouching tablet, retouching pen, big screen to see my work, like super, super high quality. Look at the distance. I'm right here. I can touch my monitor. The distance that I am to my monitor, like I can see everything. And when I'm in Lightroom, I can have my shoot here and I can have the file full size here. So this is the preview and I'm looking through like the thumbnails here, and every picture I click, it's full size here. So I can check the focus and make the edit so quickly. If you're shooting a camera that has more than 20 megapixels and you're not looking at it on 4K monitors, you're not seeing all your files. You're not seeing the actual quality. So I've been on 4K monitors for the last 7 years. I've had 4K monitors. So if you're not on 4K monitors now, oh my God, that's why you're missing half the stuff that's happening inside your photographs. Guys, I hope that helps. That was 2 hours and 24 minutes of photo reviews for you. I hope that that brought you value. Somehow I managed to have an incredibly high average viewer rate, which is insane. For me, the fact that there's so many of you still watching me means so much. You guys know that this commercial-free live stream, all 2.5 hours commercial-free, is brought to you by the members of this channel and also my other sponsor. And again, this sponsor is the most important one. This podcast is brought to you by Carty Crew merch.
Every piece you see, designed by the photographer you're currently watching. And let me let you in on a little secret. Meticulously hand-stitched by the arthritic grandmothers of our very own viewers.
Well, what?
This creative community inspired this entire line. Your zeal for artistry, your tireless dedication, and your individuality shines in every stitch and design. This isn't just another piece of clothing, it's a badge of honor for every creator out there. From what I see here, they are mostly just black t-shirts and hoodies, but you do you boo. You actually want me to read the rest of this script?
Oh my God, who is this guy?
From the nuanced patterns to the vibrant colors, everything has been designed keeping in mind the creative soul that lies within each one of us. Wow. Who wrote that? There isn't a single pattern, not one.
Oh my God, leave the commentary.
There's hardly any nuance. But it says here,
God,
this merch represents more than just apparel. It's an emblem of our shared passion for creativity. Who wrote this? What absolute twaddle.
Wow, this guy's a great supporter.
All of this stuff is kind of basic, to be honest, but I'll keep that to myself.
Okay.
Let the world know you're a part of something bigger. A photographer on YouTube's clothing collection that he actually has the balls to make a commercial about.
Okay, what is going on?
What I meant to say is, a collective of photographers that celebrates and uplifts every form of creativity. I am aware, as the narrator, I'm not allowed to insert my own narrative. But, holy moly, this is horrible.
Wow.
Join the movement, embrace your creative spirit with Carty Crew merch. And yes, he is really calling this a movement. Be proud of your passion for photography. Be proud of your creative life. If photography is your life, flaunt it. The one paying for this advertisement has asked me to make a toast. Isn't this a podcast? Okay, it'll cost you another 20. Let's raise a toast to every photographer, artist, and creative out there. Thanks for being a part of this journey.
This guy's so
Did that suit you?
patronizing.
That was absolutely ridiculous. Please don't make me read anything like that again.
Back to the show. Guys, I hope you appreciated today's very special Ask a Photo Pro, where I look at your photography. I review photo images from you, my viewers, every Thursday. Super easy to do. Become a member here on YouTube by hitting the join button. Super simple. Pay me $5 a month. YouTube gets $1.50 of that. So you're paying me $3.50 to do this, really. So, and I review your photos intensely. I used to review 5 photos per photographer. Then I had to drop it to 3. Now it can only be 1 because my episodes are as long as they are. I don't just gloss over your photos. I deep dive, I get into, and I explain to you what you can do in order to take your photography to the next level. Many of the people who are watching me are on the road to professional photography. I help photographers one-on-one do that. My mentorship program, I take 10 photographers. I have 8. I got slots for like 2 people. I'm encouraging you not to sign up because I want to raise my prices. So don't sign up. But do join my mailing list. My mailing list goes out every Saturday. I send my mailing list out to almost 1,000 emerging photographers. I give insights and education and inspiration inside the mind of this 30-year pro. I've really been enjoying writing every week. It's a bit of therapy for me, and I get to really talk about stuff that sometimes is too hard to making a video. Sometimes I just want to write. Sometimes I just want to talk about stories, how I started, how I got into photography. People ask me, like, I started taking pictures when I was 14, so I went to a school that had photography from 14, and I also went to a university, the best photography school in the country. But I also dropped out, and I also, my parents got divorced, and I quit school and moved out of the house and sold my camera and got a studio, and my brother and I started. I was 21 years old, and my brother was there as protection. I knew if I was with my brother, I could do anything. And we did. And that was literally 33 years ago. And here I am on YouTube trying to inspire the next generation. If you guys like my smiling face, consider subscribing. If you made it to the end of this episode, please leave a comment. Leave a comment for me, because comments make me feel good. I read them all. So if you have something you want to ask me or say because you made it to the end of this episode, leave a comment. And if you have nothing to say, just leave your favorite emote. If you guys could leave comments, if every single one of you, there'd be over 50 comments, then that would push this out to more people and I could help more people. Guys, I appreciate you so very much. Thank you so much for watching. The hardest part is showing up. I'll see you on the next one. I appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, you guys probably want your assignment for next week, eh? You guys probably wanting your assignment? Forgot about the assignment. I gotta give you guys an assignment. Here's the deal. You guys impressed me so much last week with what you shot and shared today. I want you to stay on the same tip. If you submitted a photo today... Photo of the week. Oh my God, Robin, you're so right. Okay, we're not ending. Okay, first of all, the assignment, all those people who signed off. First of all, the assignment is, if you submitted and I gave a critique, I want you to take what I've given you, fix that, and redo the photo. Because what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to show like a before and after. This is if you're able to recreate the photo that you made with my suggestions. That is your assignment. If you didn't submit a photo, then the assignment is still the same. I want one hero photo. I want the opening of your portfolio. I want the photo that this is the picture that if I only had one photo today, this photo would represent my portfolio. I don't want you digging through the archives. I do not want you digging through the archives. I'm not interested in seeing something that you shot last year. I want to see something that you're making now with the new education that you have, with the new mindset that you have, with the new inspiration that you have, and seeing all these incredible photographers that watch this show, the incredible photographers that submit, knowing the bar. I want you to make a hero picture, a portfolio picture within your niche that's going to blow me away. Sorry, I forgot the photos of the week. I was going to do them on Discord, but we'll do them right here because you asked me so nicely. In no particular order, I am going to pull some photos of the week. These photos of the week are based on a few requirements. Number one, you blew me away. That means photo of the week. Number two, you leveled up, meaning you did something better than you've ever done before, and I noticed. The other way that you win a photo of the week is by really trying harder than you've ever tried to execute a photograph. And also how you win photo of the week is by not taking pictures, but by making pictures. And yeah, all of that being said, I feel like I have a nice selection of what I would call photos of the week. I've chosen 5, and in no particular order, I am awarding 5 photos of the week. Your first photo of the week winner, and by the way, look at you for staying. Your first photo of the week goes to our man Durrell with this photo right here. Photo of the week. Durrell, congratulations. Let's go. Your second photo of the week in such a short time. Let's go, Durrell. Congratulations. Photo of the week. Your next photo of the week. Your next photo of the week, let me go look and see, is from a photographer named Dreadfully Blessed, with this photo right here that just absolutely broke my brain. Like, this car photograph is mental. This is a photo of the week from Dreadfully Blessed. Amazing. Our next photo of the week goes to Turtle, the one they call Josh McCoy, for this absolutely mental aerial photo. Photo of the week goes to Turtle. Let's go, Turtle. Congratulations. Our next photo of the week. Let's make sure. I have so many new viewers. This photo is from... I have so many new viewers. This photo is from... First photo of the week winner. Congratulations, Tony, with this photo right here. Photo of the week for Tony. Let's go. Tony, you crazy. Oh my word. And our last photo of the week winner. This shooter helps me so much. This shooter I talk to pretty much every day. And again, it doesn't mean that just because I talk to the shooter through DM every day that he gets any kind of free ride when it comes to the quality of his photography. Just because I talk to the shooter every day, it doesn't mean that I don't have actually higher expectations because he watches all my content and listens to everything that I say. This photographer, this is his second photograph of the week, and at such a higher level than his first one. I think you know who it is. This is Matthew Sargent. Photo of the week, Matthew. Absolutely an amazing story, an amazing execution, and just wow. So proud, so proud, so proud. Guys, your photos of the week. I was trying to end the show, man. I've been on here for like how long? Holy, it's like 8:37, 2.5 hours? Oh my God. Guys, I love you. Thanks for watching. Hero photo for next week. Representing your niche, your absolute best. This is the photo I'm asking you for. Representing you. This is who I am. This is the best that I can do. The absolute best that I can do. Show me that. I'll review them next Thursday. You have 7 days. Start shooting. The hardest part is the idea part. Spend time there. You spend all your time in idea, the execution is easy. The members of this stream are why you get commercial-free content. You'll see the members of the stream scrolling across the top right now. If you became a member recently, you'll see your name going across there. And if you subscribed recently, your name is scrolling across the bottom. I can only show 25. So if you're not there, it's because 25 people have subscribed since you. I love you guys.